Hey guys, it's Colette again. I am back. I know it's been a little bit of a break. I think it's about 3 or 4 weeks since my last video. If you guys watched my last video, it's because I have moved to Sydney just for a job, and I think I just needed to have a like a different kind of state, different place to explore and things like that. So today is the 13th of June, and from what I can remember, I moved to Sydney in the 13th of May. So it's been exactly 1 month since I've been here. I've had a little bit of time to kind of explore, go look around. I have a couple of notes here with just essentially what to expect when moving, my experiences with moving. If you don't know, I used to live in Brisbane in Queensland. That's where I've lived for the past 12-13 years almost. So essentially this is my first big move by myself to a whole new different state. So this is just me essentially documenting everything here. Well, not everything, but I try to, and just my tips and tricks, and also just what I learnt from moving here and what to expect. Okay, so number one is transport. Obviously, back in Brisbane I used to drive. Now I'm essentially just catching public transport everywhere, and my car is back in Brisbane. Maybe a little bit later on I might move and get my car and then come back, but yeah, so the first one is an Opal card. So unlike Brisbane, which is a Go card, here you need to get something called an Opal card. Essentially this is the same concept. You can use it for ferries, trams, trains, buses, everything here, and yeah, so that's essentially. I had a friend called Chanel. I mean, she still is my friend. I don't know why I said had, but she still is my friend, and she traveled back and forth to Sydney quite a bit, and she told me when you arrive in Sydney, get the Opal card in the airport itself. That way you can just travel to where you want to go via train, because there's a train that connects. It's just underneath where the domestic airport is. So that was a really good thing, so thanks Chanel. But I got an Opal card, and another thing that I literally just found out maybe like 2 days ago, and the reason that I found this out is because I was walking home, it was raining, I had my Opal card in my coat pocket, and then I came home to take everything out, take my keys out and stuff, and it wasn't there. Like, I lost it, and I was like, oh well, there you go, I have to go find a 7-Eleven to get one. Also, an Opal card, you can't get them at the actual like train stations or something. From what I've seen, you can get them at like the major ones like Central and things like that, but most probably we get them at like the convenience stores. So yeah, that's another thing. But anyway, I came back, my Opal card was gone, and then I had to go out the next day, and I was like, oh, what do I do? And then one of the persons at the train, like the people that are there, they were like, oh, you could just touch on and off with your debit card or credit card, like if it's Visa or Master, like it'll just register. So if you guys are moving and you haven't gotten it, one thing that you can just do is just use your actual card to touch on and touch off. I don't know if this is like me just being super oblivious to this, but I literally did not find this out until like 2 days ago, and I've gotten another one because I think it's a little bit cheaper in an Opal card. But yeah, there you go. So you can either get one, or if you're just traveling for like holidays or whatever, you can just use your MasterCard to tap on and tap off, and yep, so that's probably the first thing that I learned when I got here. Okay, so the second thing is double check your apartment sizes, the descriptions of it, everything. I cannot stress this enough, guys. When I first, so I've moved into a different apartment now. I do share with 2 other people, but because I was in Brisbane, I couldn't come here for inspections all the time. So I looked at the descriptions, I looked at the images, I spoke to the owner, and I was like, okay, cool, this looks like a really good apartment, I'll go for that. Rent was pretty okay, and it was right in the middle of the city. So it was in Surrey Hills, which is where I work. So I was like, it's going to be really close just for me to figure everything out. when I went there, I kid you not, it was so like dingy, and I was just like in such a bad emotional state of mind. I didn't want to like tell my parents or anything, because they were like, oh my god, you're moving, they're going to be worried. So I called my sister and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, like I don't know what I've gotten myself into. It was like literally the smallest room you can imagine, like just enough space for a bed, and that's it. And the thing is, in that room, I paid for a room by myself with like a queen bed and things like that, and she charged me for that room. But when I got there, there was another girl already staying there. Turns out she's not going to move out until, I don't know, like Monday. So I got there on a Thursday. She wasn't going to move out until Monday. So I had to share this tiny room with her. And I don't mind sharing, but it was just the space. There was just no space, and there was no like we had a bathroom, but the bathroom, like if you sat on the toilet, like your knees would be touching like the walls essentially. Like that's how small it was. So I just please double check. This apartment that I found it on flatmates.com, but a few places that I've seen was Facebook Marketplace and Flatmate Finders as well. When you're looking at it, try and do a virtual inspection, try and get on a video call, and get them to show you the room, get them to show you what spaces that you have, and just please double check the pictures, double check rent, bond, everything like that with her. I just think that's so important. And I actually spoke to a couple of people at work that work in Surrey Hills, and they said, yeah, in Surrey Hills, the pictures and stuff, they usually put up pictures how it is before it gets sold to the owner, and then that's the pictures that you use. So it looks really nice, looks really grand, extravagant, but when you actually go into the place, it's so small. So yeah, that's tip number 2, I suppose. Okay, so another thing that I found is, when I used to live in Surrey Hills, obviously that's right near the Sydney CBD, so it is going to be a lot more expensive. It's the same anywhere, even in Brisbane, that's how it was. But what I found is public transport is so easy here. There's a bus or train, or if not, there's a tram that goes everywhere. So my tip would be to say, for example, you work in Surrey Hills, look at the trains that go to Surrey Hills and back. Like look at the train line and look at the suburbs that it shows, and you could find a place a little bit further away. So for example, I live in a suburb called Torella now, and it's literally just one train line. I get on at Torella station and then I could get off at Central. So even though I'm a little bit further away, it takes me about 10-15 minutes to get there, and it's just one line. I don't need to change trains. So try and look at where you're working and look at the trains that go there, and look at the train lines and see, if you go out a little bit further off, is it going to be a lot more cheaper for you guys? Because what I found is, like where I live, the apartment's a lot bigger, as you can see, and it's a lot cheaper, and because I have a train line, it's really easy for me to go back and forth as well. So when you're first going there, obviously you do want to live closer to where you stay, just in case, but later on down the line, find something that's a little bit cheaper, that has closer public transport, and it's just going to be better for you in the long run as well. Fourth one, this is kind of going together with what I said in the beginning. Public transport is definitely the cheapest and easiest way to travel. I'm just looking at my book here if you're looking, but yeah, it's a lot cheaper. And plus, with cars, my roommate has a car now and she just parks it down. In Sydney, most people are going to be working from home anyway, so you don't really need to take your cars out. The only time you probably would need it is on the weekends or after work if you're going out, whatever you're doing. But public transport is definitely the cheapest. From where I live, the train station is maybe like a 2-minute walk, so I just find it really easy. Plus, the roads in Sydney are very, very narrow as well, so if you're trying to drive in the city, it is going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be a change for sure, but I mean, if you live in the burbs, then it's fine. But yeah, public transport is definitely the cheapest and the easiest way to travel back and forth in and out of the city, and just to like other areas as well, just because something that I learnt from Brisbane is, like, say for example you go to Westfield, right, one of the Westfields, you have everything there. Like, you'll have Coles, you'll have Ali, like everything there, but you also have free parking there as well. So I think it's 3 hours free parking. If not, it's like $6 or something after that. Here it's not like that. You're gonna have to pay for parking everywhere you go, or you're gonna have to try and find a street parking. Obviously, if you're moving to Sydney, you're new here, you're not gonna have time for that, and you're not gonna know, you know, the small parts, and you're not gonna know like where the cheapest parking is, where to park your car, and things like that. So I just think, yeah, public transport, getting to there is going to be a lot easier for you and a lot cheaper for you as well. What I'm planning to do is, after a couple of months, when I go back to Brisbane to visit, I'll probably go there. So I'll fly there and then I'll probably drive back, just because I do have a parking space here. So when I'm commuting to and from work, I'll probably use the train still, but then on the weekends, if I need to go somewhere or go shopping or whatever I'm doing, then I can take my car and go, just because obviously I'm going to have a lot of stuff to carry as well. So another thing that I learnt very, very quickly is I got homesick so quickly. I think the first week that I was here, I did not want to go out anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. I was so homesick. One, because I didn't like the apartment that I was in. There was no space. And two, it was just like, yeah, like everything was kind of getting to me at the same time. But if you're feeling homesick, I think just like go out. Just take a walk. Go out and explore. One good thing in Sydney is there's always so many shops. There's so many parks. There's a lot of like touristy areas as well. So just go out. Like, I am the type of person where I get my energy from people around me, and I'm an extrovert. I love going out. I love being social. I love having friends over. That's just me. That's just how it is. When I moved here, I had to start from scratch. I had no friends. I literally did not know anyone here. So it really did get me down, and I really got homesick. And I think when I actually started to kind of get myself out of that mind space, and I was like, you know what, it's going to be me. I'm the only person I have moving forward. Why can't I just take myself out? Why can't I just go and explore by myself? It kind of changed. You start becoming a lot happier, and it's not as bad. Like, everyone thinks, oh, you're like eating out by yourself, you're going out by, like, what's wrong? And I used to think that as well, but I think it's just, sometimes you just need that time. You need to explore, especially while you're here by yourself. If you're stuck in your apartment or house or wherever you live 24/7, you don't want to go out, you are going to get bummed out. So even if you don't want to go out and explore, just go out, walk in the streets, try and see if you can figure out a new way to get home. Try and see if you can figure out a new, bus stop or a new train station or something that's going to be closer. What I did is because I lived in Surrey Hills, everything was really close by. I went to I think it was St Mary's Cathedral, I went to Hyde Park, and then I also went to the Westfield Sydney area, and things like that. So I did do a little bit of exploring, and then I went to Chinatown and World Square, and things like that. And then my roommate, back in the old apartment, she was super nice. She was like, you've been in your room for too long, come out, let's go. She took me out to dinner, which was super, super sweet of her, and we went to night markets. So in Friday, in Surrey Hills, they have these night markets where it's just so much delicious food and all these really cute Japanese, Korean stuff. So I went there, I explored. But yeah, essentially my point is, just go out, explore. Even if you don't want to explore, just walk around. Exercise is really good for your mental health as well. And yeah, just walk around, even just go around the block for a little bit and then come back, and it's really going to get you out of that space of missing home and just kind of wanting to go back as well. Okay, so the weather in Sydney. Where do I start? The Sydney weather has literally been 50 shades of grey recently. It's winter in Australia, so it's been so cold. But I think when it's hot, it's hot. But the other days, it's really, since I've gotten here, it's just gotten progressively colder, just because we are going into the winter shades. So if you're gonna come here in around May, June, July season, definitely bring your coats, because it's gonna be a lot more colder. The day before, we were sitting at 3 degrees in Sydney. So yeah, the weather is it's a little bit extreme. So when it's hot, it's really hot. When it's cold, it's really cold. So you kind of just have to be prepared. There is like a month in between where the weather's okay, but apart from that, yeah, when it's hot, it's really, really hot. When it's cold, it's pretty cold. Like, I'm literally sitting in a sweater and sweats at home, and it's sunny outside, but it's still super, super cold. So yeah, just keep in mind with the weather, if you're traveling here during the summer seasons, bring a lot of summer stuff. Obviously winter, bring a lot of winter coats and things. That's something that I didn't do. I just brought sweaters because I thought it's not going to be that cold, but it was freezing. So just be prepared for the weather as well. Okay, so another thing is, I dress like a slob, if you don't know already, but in Brisbane, I mean, I would just be in my house. The only time I would dress okay is when I'm going out for like a really nice occasion, like dinner or anything. Everywhere else, it would just be like sweats and a shirt and that's it, or like jeans and a t-shirt and that's it. In Sydney, people dress a lot better. Like, everyone dresses nicely in Sydney, and it's like, I feel like if you don't kind of like put in that effort, you don't dress nicely, you do kind of feel like, oh, what the hell. I mean, that's just me, like, not saying, like, if dress how you want, I mean, I'm not the one to judge, but I'm just saying, for me personally, like, I feel like Sydney, like, people in Sydney just dress a lot more nicely. And I think it's like, it's kind of like, you might find someone, like, you might look at someone and they might not be the most attractive person, but like, because they're dressed so nicely and they've put themselves together, it's like, oh yeah, that person looks nice, you know. It's kind of like that, like when you're going to work, or even like going out shopping or whatever, people are just dressed a lot nicer. It's like they're ready to get photographed at any time. So that's something that, like, I guess for the girls out here, like, if you're planning to step out of the house, like, put a little bit of effort into it, because I think that's just something that I've observed. I mean, you do you, boo. Not judging, but, you know, that's just something that I've observed. Another thing, cost of living in Sydney. Now, cost of living in Sydney is a lot higher. I think Sydney has one of the highest costs of living. So if you move to Sydney and you get a job, yes, you're going to be paid a lot more, but you also have to consider it in the fact of cost of living as well. So, you know, really, really learn to budget. Something that I've done since I kind of started working full-time 3 years ago, I have an Excel sheet. This just might be my OCD, but like, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I put in what I earn a month, like my income per month, what goes out every month. I kind of split the month into weeks. So back in my old job, I used to get paid weekly. Now I get paid fortnightly. So it is a little bit different, just a budget, but you really need to budget. You need to think about how much you're bringing in every month. Because I like to go with when I get paid. So I budget how much I get paid every fortnight. And then out of that fortnight, literally whatever I need for my bills, is just put aside. So bills and rent is put aside. Before I can even figure out what I can use, bills and rent is just put aside. And then out of what I have left, I like to help my parents out a little bit, so I'll give them some, and then figure out what I need for the next fortnight to kind of get me through with transport, groceries, whatever, and then savings. What I like to do, say for example you're getting paid $200, I prefer to put at least half of that into savings, just straight up into an account where it's out of my sight and I'm not going to be able to touch it, and then try and figure out living with the other 100. Obviously 200 is a really small amount to live every fortnight, but it's an example. But yeah, just really, really learn to budget when you're here, because when you first move and things like that, you are going to spend a lot of money just trying to figure stuff out. Bond, rent, travel, groceries, everything. It's like your money is going to go really quick, and if you don't budget and if you just keep spending, you're going to find yourself where you're like, shit, I had so much money and like, what am I doing now? Like, I feel like I'm just getting paid and it's just going towards bills. So I really do need to budget as well. Finally, if you're doing like a move where it's just you, yourself, and you're just kind of figuring everything out, just remember, like, you're on track to what you're doing. One of the things that I have learnt is sometimes with distance you will lose friends, you will gain friends, your relationships might be a little bit, you know, kind of like not good, but this is where you are at this point, and you're never going to get to this point again. You're never going to go through yesterday. That's never going to happen. So make most of every day that you've got. If you're doing this by yourself, I mean, it is going to be scary, but just like try and go out, explore, be with the people that, you know, motivate you to be better. And if you've had troubles in the past and you've got a lot of baggage, this is a new move. So try and leave all of that behind. Try and go through a new stage in life. Surround yourself with people that actually motivate you to be higher. Like, if you surround yourself with people that are content with where they are, and they're just kind of happy, just kind of cruising by, working their 9 to 5, and that's the sort of lifestyle you want, fantastic. For me personally, I want to go the next level. I always want to go the next level. You know, I think there's always going to be opportunities for you to grow and go higher. So that's the type of people that I am currently surrounding myself with as well. People that are working on a 9 to 5, but they're also working like 12, 13, 14-hour day shifts just because they're working on their side hustle as well. And, you know, surround yourself with people like that. Again, this is a new start. Make new friends, go out, explore, do new things, and just know that, like, the only person that you have to trust completely and that has your back all the time is yourself. You know, treat yourself well, put your health first. Regardless of how much you're working, your health comes first, because that's the only body that you have. So put yourself first, glow up. And one of the quotes that I will leave with you guys that I found very recently, but I think it's just given me a whole new perspective, is you are the CEO of your life. Hire, fire, and promote accordingly. Right? You are the CEO of your life. So hire, fire, and promote accordingly. There you go. So that's pretty much it from me, guys. I will keep you guys updated with how I'm going, essentially. But yeah, it's been a month since I've been in Sydney. I am starting to really like it, really starting to get into the kind of like, you know, flow of things. To my family back home, if you are watching, love you guys, miss you guys so much. But yeah, I will be back with another video very shortly. So yeah, like, I'm just doing this in my free time. Whenever I feel like, okay, I'm gonna post a video and I'm gonna record it, then that's what I do. It's kind of just like whenever I feel like it, whenever I'm in a good mood. So yeah, if you guys have any comments, suggestions, or any requests you want me to do, comment down below, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.